Welcome to Module 5. My name is Brian Toller, and I'm the Math Assessment Specialist.
And I'm Tony Bertrand. I am the ELA Assessment Specialist.
And this is the Smarter Balanced Training Module for the 2017-2018 school year, which is required for all district and school test coordinators as well as Smarter Balanced test administrators. The topics that we will be looking at today include scheduling Smarter Balanced assessments, administering the Smarter Balanced assessments appropriately, key elements and features related to online testing, and available resources. Adequate scheduling ensures that students have sufficient time and resources needed to complete the assessments. The 2017-18 Smarter Balanced statewide test window runs from February 6th through June 8th, 2018. School-level test windows must not begin until at least 66% of a school's annual instruction days have been completed and must last for at least 4 calendar weeks. For more information about school-level test windows and expiration periods, please refer to Module 1, Test Coordinators, and to Section 5.2 of the Test Administration Manual. Scheduling. The CAT and PT sections of the test should be given on separate days. Finish one before starting the other. It is recommended, but not required, that the CAT or non-performance task items be administered first. ELA performance tasks may be given over multiple sessions. Math is recommended to be completed in one session. Neither portion of the test is timed. Students should be allowed to continue working as long as they're making progress. Whichever is administered first, students shouldn't have both the CAT portion and the PT portion of the test open at the same time. The CAT test, or computer adaptive test, includes item types such as selected response, or multiple choice, technology enhanced items. The performance task is a 2-day event in ELA, and it's recommended that it's done in a single day in mathematics. ELA will access multiple resources. The short answer questions will provide scaffolding. And the CAT test works similarly to our other OAKS tests, which are adaptive. The question difficulty adjusts as the student works through the test, providing either easier or more difficult items based on correct or incorrect student responses on machine-scored items. Similar to as in years past, 12th grade students may have one opportunity to retest in each content area.
In the next topic, we will address administration. Please remember, consistent administration practices ensures equitable access for all students regardless of school or district. Prior to administering a content area within the Smarter Balanced assessment, ensure that the following steps have been taken prior to student login. The test administrator has the approved directions for beginning the assessment. The test administrator has activated the correct subject and content component. And all necessary non-embedded supports are appropriately provided for student access. Scratch paper continues to be a non-embedded universal tool. However, please note that starting this year, scratch paper may not be retained for the CAT portion and is only allowable for being retained for the performance task segment. To retain scratch paper, TAs must direct students to write their names or some appropriately identifying information on their scratch paper, and then collect and inventory the scratch paper at the end of each test session. Retained scratch paper must be kept in a securely locked room or cabinet that can only be opened by authorized staff. Upon completion of the test, scratch paper must be securely destroyed. Pause rules. If the assessment is idle for over 20 minutes, the system will automatically pause the test. During the CAT segment of the Smarter Balanced assessment, if a test is paused for more than 20 minutes, the student is required to log back into the student interface. Students will return to the item they were working or the subsequent item if they submitted their response. Students may not be permitted to review or change previously answered items. There are no pause restrictions for the Smarter Balanced performance task. If a test is paused for 20 minutes or more, the student can return to the section and continue typing his or her responses. In this topic, we will address key elements to support students during the Smarter Balanced assessment. Key elements for ELA. Smarter Balanced combines 4 elements of English language arts into one test. Listening items will require each student to have headphones. Students at all tested grades will be doing a performance task which will require them to write an essay. Please check the Oregon Accessibility Manual for specific allowable supports.
Key elements for math include the Desmos calculators. This is the 2 examples of the Desmos standard calculator and scientific calculator, which will be the operational calculators for 2017-18. The one on the left is the calculator available on the 6th grade assessment, and the one on the right is the available calculator for 7th and 8th grade. These calculators are embedded universal tools. They're now available on the practice tests and in standalone form available at oaksportal.org. This is the Desmos Smarter Balanced Graphing Calculator. It's the operational calculator for the high school math assessment. This is also an embedded universal tool and available on the practice tests and at oaksportal.org. Resources to adequately prepare both teachers and students for the assessments. The practice and training tests. So there are different practice simulations available at Oaks Portal, one being the training test, which is organized by grade band. Each training test has about 6 to 9 questions and includes all the item types and includes the embedded universal tools, designated supports, accommodations, and language supports. To access all of the supports, it may require a proctored test session. The practice test is organized by grade, and it includes approximately 30 items of varying difficulty and a performance task. It also has all the embedded universal tools, designated supports, accommodation, and language supports. The difference between the two, you will want to use the training test if your goal is to familiarize students with how to navigate the test and learn how to complete the different item types. If your intent, it's not intended to look at grade level content or items at different varying difficulty. You will want to use the practice test if you want to see grade level items and practice the responses to them. You want your students to experience the items across all claims, or you want your students to have practice on a performance task. More resources available to teachers are the Smarter Balanced test blueprints, which include the number of items that will be on the assessment, the distribution of items, and then the depth of knowledge of those items. Other resources include the content specifications that list all the assessment targets and then connect the Common Core State Standards to those assessment targets. Another resource is the item specification, broken out by grade level, claim, and target. In those item specifications, there are task models that include lots of sample items and appropriate stems. A link to access these resources is provided at the end of this PowerPoint. Teachers should spend time looking at these materials to help inform them on how to prepare students to be successful on the assessments.
Q&A discussion. This is an optional point in the required training to pause and discuss the questions provided or locally developed sets of relevant questions. Suggested activities include small group discussion to capture local considerations and challenges followed by a large group discussion to facilitate a review or summary of considerations and challenges. Another activity includes small group discussions to share effective approaches, followed by a large group share-out writing down these approaches. If you would like to pause, please pause now. The last slide addresses online resources. To access practice and training tests, you may access the OAKS portal at oaksportal.org. For more information on test specifications and blueprints, please visit the ODE's website at oregon.gov/ODE. Thank you for your time, and this concludes Module 5.